Hey, folks, just stopping in from deep in the heart of Central Florida to give you an update on my status and the status of the world. And what I'd like to start off by saying is, we got to go back to George Carlin when he said, you know, it's the American dream. You got to be asleep to believe it, you know, and that's where we're getting right now. He was a prophet in many ways. Uh, yeah, he said some things that we should be listening to. And, if my circumstances were different, I'd be getting the fuck out of here. But, I'll do it okay here in Central Florida until I decide, or I should say, circumstances change so that I can get the fuck out of here. And if I get the fuck out of here, it's going to be way off the fucking grid. I mean, so far off the fucking grid, you can't even imagine what it's like. 150 miles from Phoenix or so, But yeah, we reached the end of the line for the American dream. The American dream is gone. It is a foregone conclusion, you might say. Hey, 12 Bravo. Hey, TDT. I'll tell you, the government is so corrupt now that it's even beyond my belief. I started out, a few years ago, back when Trump ran for office, I was thinking, okay, maybe he could get some shit done. And he did get some shit done. But the problem is he fucked it up along the way with Operation Warp Speed and red flag laws. You can't trust any fucking politician anymore. Maybe not even Rand Paul, because Rand Paul is only going halfway toward the Constitution. That's what really scares me. When they only when they only say, well, we need an overseer of the $40 billion that's going to Ukraine. Okay, so why are we sending $40 billion to Ukraine in the first place? Whether or not there's going to be somebody overseeing the money or not. It's fucking downright scary. But, yeah. I got my motorhome ready to go if I have to. And I might head right back across the country to Northeast Arizona so that I can be with people who are at least somewhat like-minded. But the government is so corrupt. They're at least as corrupt as Ukraine, because really Ukraine is a reflection of the United States government. Well, TDT, that's only half of it. Yes, they trust Biden and just handed over America's sovereignty to the WHO. But Trump basically did the same thing. He said, okay, I believe in you, Fauci. Let's go ahead and do, what is it? Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed. Yeah, that's it. Let's get everybody to go out there and take some fucking vaccinations. It's sick. You know, and everything I've been through for the last 2.5 years, I can say that Operation Warp Speed was the biggest load of horseshit ever to come down the pike of the American government. Operation Warp Speed. They can kiss my fucking ass. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, picking back up from where I left off, let me tell you something. The situation in Ukraine is something that, you know, if you have two brain cells left to rub together, that it's horseshit. And Zelensky, the Jew, and the Nazis are like brothers and sisters. You know, it's really strange, because first of all, I really don't believe that Zelensky is a Jew in the traditional sense of the word, okay? Give me a minute. Something's going on back here. Hold on. What? Mm. Okay. Once again, I'll start over here again. Zelensky's a fucking Jew. And, I don't have anything against Jews because really the Orthodox Jews are not bad people. You know, you could look at there's a couple different groups of Jews that really don't believe in forming a state of Israel. But, the Zionists, they're all for that shit. And they're all for the formation of Azov Nazis in Ukraine. They love that shit, because that's how they keep fucking control. It's just sick. I used to actually think, when I was in high school, I used to actually think Jews were good people. And for the most part, I still believe that. But there's the element called the Zionists who believe that they are the chosen people, the leaders of the world. Well, guess what? They're fucking not. And America is not they're not exceptional. we could argue back after World War II that America did some great things. They went over, they kicked the fucking Nazis' ass, and they got the fuck out of there. And it cost millions of lives, of course. But, maybe we could argue that we did some good things then. But as time went on, there was uh, there was Korea, North and South, Vietnam, North and South, and then we just believed that we should get in there and kick some fucking ass because it was the domino effect, but it wasn't. It was the beginning of the neoconservative movement, and really, if you look at it really close, when JFK was assassinated, murdered, that was the shot across the bow of of the United States. And then the second shot across the bow was the coup. I like to call it the coup on 9/11, 2001, when multinational corporations went in and took over this country. They took us over. This wasn't just the United States of America, an inside job. It was a multinational fucking corporation that came in and said, we're going to do with you what we want. It's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. They took out JFK. Then they came back in September, on September 11th, 2001, and took out what was left of America. Sick shit. I remember all. I was about 9 or 10 years old when JFK was taken out. I think I was 9, and I was thinking, when I'm 9 years old, I'm thinking, what the fuck, But it really didn't come to fruition in my mind what happened until decades later. But I figured it out. Fucking pisses me off. And it was the deep state, so to speak, deep state that took out JFK. And then in 1960, well, from 1963, when they took out JFK, then it took out Bobby Kennedy in 1968. They wanted to wipe out a whole fucking generation of Kennedys. So, and now we have in Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives, some fucking jokers that are running that motherfucker because they want to challenge Russia, weaken Russia. I got news for them. They're not going to weaken Russia. Russia, going back to World War II, they lost 24 million people to beat back the Russians or the Nazis, to put them back in their fucking place. And you're not going to, Russia hasn't changed. The former Soviet Union, those motherfuckers haven't changed really, except now they got stronger leadership than ever before. No matter what the mainstream media says about Putin, is that this motherfucker's tough, and he's as tough as the leadership that was in this, Russia during World War II. These people have been through the fucking ringer. They're not fucking afraid of a few bastards in this fucking snowflake Congress, this rhino Congress. They're not afraid of that shit. They will do what they need to do to rectify the situation in Ukraine, which is, extreme nationalist and Nazi. They went into Ukraine for a couple of reasons, at least. One, to denazify Ukraine, which is, there's no question about it. Ukraine has not the Azov battalion, as they call it, and they want to demilitarize Ukraine so that NATO can't move into there right up into the Russian border. That's what it's all about. And eastern Ukraine is mostly ethnic speaking Russian. And the Azov battalion and these extreme nationalists in Russia don't even want ethnic Russian speaking Russian in any part of Ukraine. They've been exactly like Nazi bastards during going back to Germany in World War II and a little bit before World War II when it was leading up to the Nazi regime. Oh, and the other thing is that the Zionist Jew bastards, and I don't have anything against Jews, don't get me wrong. I was actually had really good friends in high school who were Jewish, but you know, the thing is about a lot of Jews is that they have become Zionist Jews. There are some good Jewish groups, not only in Israel, but all over the world. They don't want to have anything to do with the state of Israel. They don't believe that having a state for Jews is biblical. And I believe that too. You know, I think it's one group called Naturai Kartai, you know, and they are very much against this of having a Jewish state because they believe it is totally anti-biblical. So, you know, I've studied this shit for a long time. Yeah, the government is setting us all to be slaughtered. Yeah, you got that shit right. Yeah, we're gonna have to be on our own, Bravo, 12 Bravo. Dude, you know, and it's really just become apparent in my own mind since about 2007 when I finally got really full access to the internet, you know, and I saw guys like Alex Jones and many, many others. Alex Jones was just, you know, the start of the seed in my mind. But although I don't, you know, I'm really skeptical of Alex Jones in many ways because he's still kind of pushing the Trump effect, you know. Sad too. Because I'm not a believer in Trump anymore. I actually started falling away in as early as 2017, 2018, when Trump started putting up red flag, you know, the idea of, yeah, maybe we should have red flag laws, you know, put them in court, you know, prosecute first, and then give them their Second Amendment rights or their civil rights or whatever. I thought it was the other way around. First, you you know, give them a benefit of the doubt, and then maybe you can prosecute them. You know, God, this is one fucking thing after another. Um, but make no mistake that the Russians are grinding the Ukrainian military down. And just, of course, like 2 days ago, they started taking, as the mainstream media called it, evacuees from Mariupol, Azovstal, the steel plant in Ukraine. But it's not evacuees. They're surrendering to the Russians because the Russians surrounded their ass in Mariupol and kicked their fucking ass. And they have nowhere to go. So they had to come out of that fucking steel plant. This has got like 5 stories underground or whatever it is. And now, in the Donbass region to the east, the Russians, who have a far superior ground operation with artillery, which is their forte, they are going to crush and surround the Donbass region until the Ukrainian Nazi bastards are cut off, and they will start taking them prisoner and make them surrender too. It's only a matter of time. I think maximum 30 days, and the Donbass region, was it Lugansk and Donetsk are the main population areas that will be absolutely 100% Russian territory. So, it's really sad for me to say all this shit because my dad, he he started off in World War II. He was an Army Air Corps pilot. When he went into the Army Air Corps, he already had a commercial pilot's license. Experienced pilot, gung ho, you know, all in American type, And but the sad thing is that after World War II, the United States got on their high horse and decided to go on a terror around the world, and just take everything over if they could. It's called hegemony. And that was a mistake. Japan, Korea, or I should say South Korea, Japan, South Korea, uh, Europe, basically, we've got control of them too, because we made them sign the NATO agreement after World War II. And there were many countries that came on. And then after that, they even increased all across, toward Russia. And Russia said, fuck this. We're not taking this anymore. You can negotiate or you can go get fucked. And I don't blame them. And there were many, I forget the name of the ambassador after World War II and on beyond, toward there were some ambassadors, even after World War II, going toward the fall of the Berlin Wall. And they said, the one thing that will be the fatal mistake for America is to continue its advance toward Russia with NATO. And so we sit here today. It's sad. It's really sad, But now, I'm an American. I love my country. But I can't love it and I can't support it when we think that we are the answer to everything. We've forgotten how Or maybe we never figured out how to negotiate. You know, whether it's with Russia or Iran or Iraq, uh, Syria, Libya, it's just been one military adventure after another for the military industrial complex and the government, of course, because the government and the military industrial complex are like this, you know, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about any fucking American. They want to bring shit down. And oh yeah, I just heard Senator Cornyn from Texas, Cornyn, uh, talking about how we need to go ahead and push this legislation through for $40 billion to Ukraine. I find that fucking sick. Is Ukraine affecting you and me? No, it's not. And really, Russia's not trying to go out and expand itself all over the former Soviet bloc. No, they're not trying to do that at all. They're just trying to say, look, you need to realize that this is an existential threat to us, i.e., Russia. And so you need to talk to us. And if you don't talk to us, we're just going to continue on this road. And believe me, the Russians are fucking they are not going to give up this advance on Ukraine. Now they might stop once they've completely controlled Donbass, and as some people have referred to the western part of Ukraine, it'll become like the rump of Ukraine, and it'll just become contested territory for everybody, and Russia won't care then because they'll be able to take the eastern part of Ukraine and restore the rights of the ethnic Russians that are in the eastern part of Ukraine, so that they're not getting their ass bombed like they have been for over 8 years in that part of Ukraine. It's like, if you went to let's say you went from Mississippi and you went to New York, and then all of a sudden those people said, we don't like the way you talk. You talk that southern stuff, So, if you don't straighten up and start talking right, we're just going to start bombing your ass, That's pretty similar. God. But anyway, I think I probably rambled on long enough. It's in my opinion, the United States, if they don't change course pretty soon, we are going to become like a third world country. And so I keep my options open. Maybe I'll go south of the border, and maybe I'll head into Mexico, South America. Who knows? Because I'm smart enough that I can pick up a few words in Spanish and get by, just like I did when I went to Germany for many, many years as a military man and as a civilian, and I can pick up enough of that fucking language. I can get by, so maybe I'll just jump in my motorhome and head south, who knows? But the government we have in place now is so fucked that we're in deep trouble. Maybe I'll just see if I can hook up with somebody with a sailboat, a big sailboat or a catamaran, and I can pay him a certain amount of money, and I can just float across the ocean to Southeast Asia. Yeah, that'll do it. You know, at least I could pick fruit off the trees. I could live in a fucking Nipa hut out there with the birds and the animals and whatever. It'd be preferable to what's getting ready to come to this fucking country. Because this fucking country is reliant on the system. And personally, I don't want to become so reliant on the system that I can't even, find a scrap to eat. That's what scares me. So, yeah, do what I can to get the fuck out of here legally, illegally, go across the land or across the fucking ocean towards Southeast Asia and see what happens, you know. But yeah, we're on a slow decline and it's going to speed up quite a bit. The stock market today, not that it's, the stock market is the entire uh, American economy. It's not. But it went down nearly 1,200 points today. And over the last couple of weeks, if you add it all up, it's probably down over a couple thousand points. It kind of went up a little bit and then way down and then up a little bit and then way down. And pretty soon, everything is going to become so expensive, you can't even afford to, rent anything, buy food, buy gas. If you're lucky, you can buy a little bit of gas and you get the fuck out of town. But it's gonna get worse, folks. I guess I'll end it right there. I'm just rambling now, so. But all I would say is have a plan if you can. I'm checking out. Bye.